How's it going? It's been a while, simply because I have been incredibly busy. I actually decided to pursue photography as my full-time career, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Roll the intro. How's it going, guys? Andre back here. Welcome back to yet another video. If you are new here, this channel is all about photography, videography, and potentially making a living out of it. So if you are new, definitely consider subscribing and following me so you can learn more about the industry. The reason why I've been fairly absent on here is because I graduated in December. It's been very difficult to find work, so I decided to pursue photography into my full-time career and hopefully make it my full-time living. So in this video, I just want to talk about some of the things that you really have to be careful with when it comes to making photography your main source of income. So the first thing that you really have to worry about is you really need to love it. You really need to love it because it is simply something that can really diminish really quickly. So much work. And when it comes to client projects, you might not necessarily get that creativity that you once had when it was just a hobby, and that can make it really difficult. In order to maintain that love, you really need to take on the projects that you really want. So that's very crucial when it comes to creating some income out of it. You need to set aside time for creativity to flourish so it can still be a hobby and pursue things further so you can, take your level up a notch. You will find that most photographers also begin to offer video services. I've been doing the same thing as well. I've been offering commercial projects, wedding films as well. And again, simply because I have a little bit of extra time, I know how to use the gear. And as photographers, we have the upper hand. This is very important to actually offer video services simply because it almost separates you out from the rest, or maybe just separates you out from the older photographers who are not necessarily as experienced in this industry. And as photographers, we have the upper hand because we understand light, we understand the camera settings, we understand composition. So on top of videographers alone, we do have that upper hand. Being able to provide supplementary services can really help your revenue stream, and it can make or break your career. So offering prints, video services like I do as well can be fantastic if you're looking to make a little bit of extra bank. Now, the biggest thing that you honestly need to worry about if you're thinking about pursuing photography as full-time is simply that you're more than just a photographer. I've been doing it now this is the third month. I started in January, so January, February, and March. You're responsible for your own financing, your own invoicing, your own marketing. If you don't have the basics of business, you might not necessarily be successful simply because at the end of the day, it is a business. You need to be able to pitch yourself, pitch to clients. Your work alone, you might have the most phenomenal portfolio, but your work alone will not always bring in clients. You need to understand content marketing, how to leverage social media so you can get more clients, relationship development with potential agencies in your community so you can really make this work for you. This next thing it's called finding your niche. And I have a very strong love-hate relationship with that concept because my whole life, I've never just been good at one thing. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but me being able to do well in multiple areas has actually proven more successful for me in the long term. When it came to sports, I play soccer, right? I can play mid, I can play defense, I can play striker. It allowed me more time on the pitch. Volleyball as well. If you can do multiple things at once, the moment there's someone better than you in that specific industry or that specific role, you might get bumped down. So with photography, when they talk about finding your niche, I would definitely suggest finding 1, 2, maybe 3 niches so you can stick to. It doesn't mean, you're going to be charging for absolutely every type of project. However, having multiple niches can actually keep your business afloat. To give you a proper example, here in Canada, where I am in Edmonton, we have winter for 6 months of the year, correct? So only being a wedding photographer, you are not making money during the winter months. The winter season is brutal. So what can you do? Well, you can also provide headshots. You're shooting weddings in the winter, but then you're shooting some commercial work. You're shooting weddings in the summer, my apologies. You're shooting weddings in the summer and then commercial work in the winter. And that can actually keep your business alive over the winter months because simply living off of weddings and deposits will not be enough. So the niche that I sort of established for myself is I shoot people. I like photographing people, I like capturing people, weddings, portraiture, and commercial photography. Those are my 3 genres that I focus on. However, like I talked about the very first part, you need to love it and you gotta stay fresh. I do a lot of like landscape work, as you can see, some in the back as well. Hopefully we'll be selling some prints soon. So if you're interested in any of that, definitely stay tuned. But you need to find multiple ways to expand on your niche, focus on your niche is, but you also need to have something that keeps you creative at the same time, and it can just give you additional practice with your tools that you are using. We also need to have a USP. USP stands for a unique selling proposition. Really, what makes you different from the rest? For me, for the longest time, it seriously was because I was a business student. I'm like, I have the business practices, I'm licensed, I'm insured, all those things. But people don't care about that at the end of the day, right? If it's me and another photographer, you know, I'm sitting here and he's here, that's not necessarily something that will sell me over top, especially if the other photographer is actually better than I am. That unique selling proposition will not land me the client. For me is, I really vouch for quality over quantity, and that's something that I didn't do before. For me, it was always quantity. However, now that I'm doing it full time, focusing on that, the relationship building, staying along with the client, worrying about meetings, getting their vision exactly as they have it set up, and providing and delivering on that. So that's my unique selling proposition. It might be, this is something that's ever changing as we grow into the industry, but this is something that as a full-time photographer, you definitely need. Now, I want to talk a little bit about karma, and it sounds weird, but this I definitely believe in as a photographer. This actually kind of created my business. It very much started with taking photos for free, and yes, you know, a lot of photographers do this for free at the beginning to develop their portfolio. However, even as you are getting more experience, the good karma will come. Right? So if you help another photographer out, you teach them, you provide additional resources, you teach them the way I'm planning on teaching you guys through the channel, right? This good karma will come back tenfold, right? So don't be too hasty, you know, when you're delivering photos. If your package says you're delivering 10 photos and it doesn't, you know, depending on how long you take to edit and retouch, you can always deliver 12. That never hurts. It leaves a good impression on the client as well, especially if your work is quality. It leaves a good impression on the client, and they will likely come back for repeat business, which is something that we want. And in service marketing, this is something that is very crucial in maintaining those relationships with our clients, especially if you're working with an agency. Okay, the very last thing that I want to touch on is risk analysis. This is something that really needs to be looked at if you're looking at stepping into full-time photography as your career, simply because some people might have the opportunity that others don't. I am 23, I just graduated. My only expense is my student loan debt, right, which is about $500 a month. My studio rental here, which is $600 a month. And, you know, phone bill, some insurance. I don't pay rent because luckily I live with mom and dad still. However, you know, if you're looking stepping into full-time photography and you have a family to feed, unless you're making $5,000-6,000 at least a month, I would not consider it. So consider your risk. I am young, so for me, it's totally okay. Worst case scenario, and full-time photography doesn't work for me. It's just an investment in myself. I'm teaching myself a lot of additional skills that many people would not have. So this is why I decided that for me, this would be a great opportunity. There you guys have it. Thank you for sitting down with me for this little chat. I wanted to share some information with you on becoming a full-time photographer. If it's something that you are pursuing, definitely, you know, join me for the ride. I'm very much hoping that I can post more content, hopefully a little bit more regularly. It's just, I am my worst critic, and I have been creating content, but I've just not been uploading it simply because it's not up to par. When I'm putting out YouTube videos, the quality seems a little bit off. I choose not to post it when I should just hit record and just publish it. So thank you guys for watching this video. Follow me on Instagram at Andre_Roman if you want to check out some of my work, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.